Step into the rigid, honorable world of feudal Japan, where the life of a samurai was a meticulously crafted path of duty, discipline, and unwavering loyalty. From his noble birth into a warrior household to his final, often honorable demise, every moment was dedicated to the way of the warrior, Bushido. This is his story, a journey of relentless training, fierce battles, and profound philosophical contemplation. If you like what I do, please like and subscribe. Now put on your headphones, pull up the blanket, take a deep breath, and relax.
Your first breath was drawn not into a humble hut, but into the disciplined confines of a samurai family, either within the bustling walls of a castle town or on a fortified estate nestled amidst your clan's lands. Your birth was immediately marked by a profound sense of inherited duty and privilege. You were born into a warrior class, a lineage of service to a lord and the protection of his domain. The household, though perhaps not opulent, would be organized and orderly, reflecting the discipline that would soon govern your life. Your family's status meant you were exempt from the grueling agricultural labor of peasants, your life's purpose set on martial prowess and administration. You were part of a larger clan, a network of samurai families bound by blood, marriage, and an unwavering commitment to your daimyo, feudal lord. The sounds of the household would be your earliest memories, the quiet rustle of silk, the soft padding of tabi-clad feet, perhaps the distant clang of a sword against a training post. Your very existence was a continuation of your family's legacy, a new link in a long chain of warriors stretching back generations. From this noble beginning, your path was set, to embody the virtues of your class and to serve your lord with absolute loyalty. The air you breathed was imbued with the spirit of the warrior, a silent promise of the rigorous path that lay ahead. You were born into a world of strict hierarchy and profound responsibilities, a world you were destined to protect and perpetuate.
Childhood for a samurai was not a period of unbridled play, but an early immersion into the values of his class. From infancy, you were taught strict obedience, a cornerstone of the samurai ethos. Respect for elders, for your parents, and for all authority figures was instilled from your earliest conscious moments. Disobedience was met with quiet firmness, never harshness, but unwavering correction. The importance of self-control was paramount. You learned to suppress tears, to manage frustration, and to maintain a calm demeanor even when upset. There was minimal coddling. Physical discomfort, whether from cold or minor bumps, was to be endured without complaint, building resilience. Your playtime, while present, would subtly guide you. Games of strategy, quiet observation, and simple physical challenges were favored over boisterous romps. You learned to sit quietly for long periods, to listen intently, and to observe the world with a keen, discerning eye. Your mother, often a strong and disciplined woman herself, played a crucial role in these formative years, shaping your character with a gentle but firm hand. This early training prepared your mind and spirit for the intense physical and mental rigors of martial arts and philosophical study that awaited you. The foundations of your character were laid: patience, discipline, and an understanding that personal desires were secondary to duty and honor. These early years molded you into a miniature samurai, internalizing the principles that would govern every aspect of your adult life.
As soon as you were able,
your formal education began, a rigorous process designed to cultivate not just a warrior, but a learned individual. You started by learning kanji, the complex Chinese characters, through endless repetition. You would practice writing with a brush and ink, meticulously forming each stroke, your hand guided by your tutor. Your studies extended to classical Chinese texts, the foundational works of philosophy, strategy, and literature, often recited by rote until memorized. Japanese history was crucial, particularly the tales of your ancestors, the great battles, and the lineages of the daimyo you served, instilling pride and a sense of continuity. You were introduced to poetry, particularly waka and haiku, learning to appreciate the beauty of nature and the brevity of life. An imaginative detail. You'd spend hours in a quiet room, sunlight streaming through the shoji screen, meticulously copying lines from the tale of Genji or a treatise by Sun Tzu, your young mind grappling with complex concepts while your hand practiced perfect brushstrokes. This intellectual training was believed to sharpen your mind, enabling strategic thinking and a deeper understanding of the world, essential for leadership. Memorization and repetition were key, building mental discipline and a vast repository of knowledge that could be drawn upon. Your education was not just about accumulating facts, but about shaping your character, fostering wisdom, and preparing you for both the battlefield and the council chambers. This foundational education ensured you were not merely a fighter, but a cultured and discerning individual, capable of intellectual pursuits as well as martial ones.
Long before you touched a real blade, your martial training began subtly, almost as play. Around the age of 5 to 7, you were given your first wooden sword, a bakken. This was a symbolic yet significant moment, marking your entry into the martial world. You were taught to hold it with respect, a preview of the real katana to come. You began basic drills, learning proper posture, the foundation of all swordsmanship, how to stand, how to move, how to balance. Your earliest lessons in kenjutsu, swordsmanship, focused on simple cuts, blocks, and footwork, often mimicking your instructor's movements. An imaginative detail. You stood in the dojo, the air cool and still, your small hands gripping the smooth wooden bakken. Your father, stern but patient, corrected your stance, reminding you that true strength came from the ground up. You practiced the same cut dozens of times, your arms aching until the movement felt natural. Discipline was immediate. A sloppy stance or a careless swing would be met with a firm correction, instilling precision from the start. You learned to fall and roll without injury, to move swiftly, and to understand the concept of ma'ai, the critical distance between opponents. These early drills were not about combat effectiveness, but about building muscle memory, discipline, and a deep respect for the sword and its potential. The bakken became an extension of your young body, a tool for both play and serious practice, shaping your physical and mental approach to the warrior's path. This initial training laid the physical and psychological groundwork for the intense martial arts training that would define your future as a samurai.
As you matured, your martial training intensified, becoming a relentless pursuit of perfection in multiple Budo, martial ways, preparing you for any combat scenario. Kenjutsu, swordsmanship, remains central, with countless hours spent perfecting strikes, parries, and draws with both bokken and eventually blunt practice swords, iaito or shinai. You trained extensively in kyujutsu, archery,
learning to draw powerful bows and accurately loose arrows, both standing and from horseback, crucial for ranged combat. Sojutsu was another vital skill, mastering the long yari, spear, for formations and individual combat, understanding its reach and versatility. You learned jujutsu, unarmed combat, practical grappling techniques for close quarters, disarming opponents, and fighting if you lost your weapon. An imaginative detail, you lunged with the yari, then transitioned fluidly to draw your sword as if an unseen enemy was upon you, your muscles burning. Later you'd practice throws in the dirt of the dojo, feeling the jarring impact as you were thrown, quickly learning how to fall and rise again. Your training also included strategy, tactics, and the art of warfare, understanding formations and logistics. Physical conditioning was relentless, running, endurance exercises, and constant drills to build strength, speed, and stamina. The aim was not just to defeat an enemy, but to perfect your own self, achieving a harmonious balance between mind, body, and spirit. This comprehensive martial training forged you into a versatile and formidable warrior, capable of facing any challenge on the battlefield.
Beyond physical prowess, a samurai's strength was rooted in his mind and spirit. You were deeply introduced to Zen Buddhism, a philosophy that profoundly influenced the samurai way of life. Zen taught you to empty your mind, to live in the present moment, and to act instinctively without hesitation or fear. It was the antithesis of overthinking on the battlefield. You practiced meditation, zazen, sitting for long periods in quiet contemplation, aiming to achieve a state of inner calm and clarity amidst external chaos. Zen emphasized indifference to fear and death, seeing them as natural parts of existence. This detachment allowed a samurai to fight without hesitation, even in the face of overwhelming odds. An imaginative event. You sat for hours in silent zazen in the dojo, the cold morning air seeping through the walls. Your knees ached and your mind raced with thoughts of training and duty. But you focused on your breath, striving to quiet the mental clamor, the physical pain a test of your unshakable resolve. You also studied other philosophies, like Confucianism, which stressed loyalty, filial piety, and strict social order, reinforcing your duty to your Lord. The teachings provided a moral and ethical framework for your life, guiding your conduct both on and off the battlefield. This spiritual training complemented your martial arts, creating a warrior whose strength came not just from his sword, but from his unshakable inner calm. Zen offered a path to enlightenment, a way to transcend the fear of death and live fully in the moment, making you a truly formidable opponent. This philosophical grounding was essential to Bushido, shaping your understanding of honor, duty, and the ultimate purpose of your life as a samurai.
In an age of cavalry, your training extended beyond foot combat. You meticulously mastered horsemanship, learning to control your steed with subtle commands and expert balance. This wasn't just about riding, it was about fighting from horseback. You became skilled at archery on horseback, yabusame, a specialized and highly valued skill. You learned to nock an arrow and loose it while galloping, maintaining your balance and accuracy even at full speed. This skill was crucial for battlefield mobility and ranged attacks, allowing you to harass enemies from a distance or to swiftly engage and disengage. An imaginative detail. Dust flew as your horse galloped across the training grounds. You drew your bow, eyes fixed on a distant target, and released the arrow, feeling the satisfying thud as it struck. This blend of speed and precision Riding as one with the animal was exhilarating, making you a truly versatile warrior. You also trained with the yari, spear, from horseback, learning to thrust effectively from a charging mount. Understanding your horse's temperament, its strengths and weaknesses, became as important as knowing your own weapons. Your bond with your horse was often deep, recognizing it as a vital partner in battle and travel. This specialized training provided a distinct advantage on the open battlefield, allowing you to cover ground rapidly and strike with powerful, mobile attacks. Mastering horsemanship and horseback archery distinguished you as a fully capable samurai, ready for the dynamic demands of feudal warfare. Around the age of 13 to 16, you underwent the pivotal Genpoku ceremony, your formal coming of age and initiation into adult samurai life. This was a solemn and significant ritual where you received your adult name, Eboshina, replacing your childhood name. This marked your transition from boy to man. You formally donned adult clothing and hairstyles, shedding the youthful attire for the more somber, practical garments of a samurai. The highlight of the ceremony was receiving your first real katana and wakizashi, the two swords that would define your identity. The katana, your soul, and the wakizashi, your honor. An imaginative detail. The weight of the katana felt heavy in your hand, its polished steel glinting in the soft light of the ancestral shrine. As you bowed before your father and the clan elders, the sensation of the silk cords of your new formal attire was a tangible sign of your newfound responsibilities. From this day forward, you were expected to live by the full code of Bushido, upholding your family's honor and preparing for military service. You would begin carrying your swords everywhere, a constant reminder of your status and your readiness to defend your lord or your honor. This ceremony was a public declaration of your maturity and your commitment to the samurai way, witnessed by your family and clan members. It was a moment of immense pride and profound seriousness, signifying your readiness to take on the duties and dangers of a full-fledged warrior. The Genpoku was the defining ritual that transformed you from a young trainee into a recognized member of the samurai class, ready to embark on your adult journey. Upon completing your Genpoku, your loyalty shifted from solely your family to your daimyo. You formally swore an oath of loyalty to your feudal lord, becoming his retainer, a Bushidan. This oath was a sacred vow, binding you to your lord with an unbreakable bond. Your life, your honor, and your family's well-being were now tied to his fortunes. You were now ready for service and battle, expected to answer his call at any time, to follow him wherever he led, and to fight for his glory and domain. Your place in the samurai hierarchy, your stipend, either in rice or land, and your duties were all determined by your lord and your family's standing within his clan. An imaginative detail. You stood before your daimyo, clad in new armor, his piercing gaze assessing your resolve. As you knelt and pledged your fealty, the weight of his expectations settled upon you, a silent vow to offer your life if necessary in his service. This vassalage was the core of feudal society, a complex web of loyalty and mutual obligation that formed the backbone of the samurai system. Your honor was inextricably linked to your lord's honor. Any perceived slight against him was a slight against you and your family. This commitment shaped every decision, every action, subordinating personal desires to the will and needs of your lord. You might live at the castle town or on an estate, always prepared for military campaigns or administrative duties. Service to your lord was not just a job, it was your destiny,
the ultimate purpose of your existence as a samurai, fulfilling the highest ideals of Bushido.
A samurai's connection to his equipment was profound. You spent countless hours meticulously cleaning and maintaining your elaborate armor, katana, and other weapons, recognizing them as extensions of your very being. Your katana, considered the soul of the samurai, required precise care, polishing the blade to a gleaming sheen, oiling it to prevent rust, and ensuring the hilt was tight. Your armor, a complex assembly of lacquered plates, silk lacing, and metal, demanded constant attention to keep it flexible, pristine, and ready for battle. You would carefully inspect every piece, tightening loose laces, re-lacquering chipped sections, and ensuring all components were in perfect working order. An imaginative detail. The scent of choji oil filled your small study as you carefully wiped down your katana blade, its mirror-like surface reflecting the light. Later, you would sit for hours, meticulously relacing a section of your cuirass that had frayed, your fingers nimble, honoring each piece as if it were a living thing. Your other weapons, yari, bow, and arrows, also received the same diligent care, sharpened, cleaned, and checked for flaws. This meticulous maintenance was not just practical, it was a form of meditation, a quiet ritual that connected you deeply to your warrior identity. A well-maintained weapon or armor could mean the difference between life and death on the battlefield, making this diligence a matter of survival. Respect for your equipment was paramount, a reflection of your own discipline and readiness. The constant care of your armor and weapons was a tangible expression of your dedication to the warrior's path, a silent promise of readiness for any challenge. The true test of your training came with your first military campaign, where theoretical drills transformed into the raw reality of battle. You would experience the terrifying chaos, fear, and thrill of actual combat. The march could be long and arduous, enduring harsh weather and scarce provisions, building camaraderie with your fellow retainers. On the battlefield, the sounds would be deafening. The roar of war cries, the thud of arrows, the clang of steel, and the screams of the wounded. An imaginative event. You charged into a skirmish, your heart pounding like a drum against your ribs. Arrows whistled past your ear, and the deafening clang of steel filled the air as you met your first opponent. You desperately tried to protect your lord's banner, your every movement a desperate prayer for survival and victory, the adrenaline surging through your veins. You learned to trust your armor, your training, and most importantly, the men fighting beside you in the close formations. The sight of blood, the smell of fear, and the brutal reality of death became starkly real, a stark contrast to the controlled environment of the dojo. Your first battle would be a blur of instinct and honed reflexes, a desperate fight for survival and the glory of your lord. Victory brought immense pride and honor. Defeat brought despair and the very real threat of death or ignominy. This experience forged you into a seasoned warrior, understanding the true nature of conflict and the immense courage required to face it. Your first campaign was a baptism by fire, solidifying your identity as a samurai and marking your true entry into the brutal world of feudal warfare. Your entire life was governed by Bushido, the way of the warrior, a strict ethical code that prioritized honor, loyalty, courage, and self-sacrifice above all else. Honor, meiyo, was paramount. Any perceived slight, any act of cowardice could bring shame upon yourself, your family, and your lord, a fate worse than death. Loyalty, chugi, to your daimyo was absolute. You were expected to serve him unconditionally, even if it meant sacrificing your own life or family. Courage, was fundamental. A samurai never showed fear, facing death with stoicism and resolve, embodying bravery in the face of overwhelming odds. Self-sacrifice, jisei, was the ultimate expression of duty, the willingness to lay down your life for your lord, your clan, or your principles without hesitation. An imaginative detail. You once chose to sleep outside in a driving rainstorm after accidentally spilling tea on your lord's scroll, a small act of self-imposed penance, demonstrating your understanding that even minor carelessness impacted your honor and required a quiet rectification, upholding the spirit of Bushido even in small ways. Bushido also encompassed rectitude, gi, benevolence, jin, sincerity, makoto, politeness, rei, and compassion, onjo, forming a holistic code of conduct. This code governed not just your actions in battle, but every aspect of your daily life, from how you spoke to how you drank tea. Living by Bushido meant constant self-reflection, striving for moral perfection in a world that demanded absolute discipline. Bushido was the spiritual backbone of your existence, providing meaning and purpose to your life as a warrior, shaping your every decision.
Beyond large-scale battles, you might find yourself engaged in individual duels or small skirmishes, personal contests of skill and bravery that could quickly define your reputation. A duel might arise from a challenge to honor, a dispute over territory, or a prearranged contest between skilled warriors. These were highly personal, brutal encounters, often fought with sharpened katana, testing your martial prowess and your calm under pressure. A skirmish could be a sudden ambush, a clash between small patrolling groups, or a desperate defense of a stronghold requiring swift, decisive action. An imaginative detail. The air crackled with tension as you faced your opponent in a quiet clearing, the sun glinting off his drawn katana. You waited, every muscle taut, for the precise moment to move, your breath shallow, knowing your life hinged on a single perfect strike. These engagements demanded lightning reflexes, precise technique, and unwavering resolve, as a single mistake could be fatal. Victory in a duel could enhance your reputation and bring honor to your lord. Defeat, especially if captured, could lead to disgrace. You learn to read your opponent's intentions, to anticipate their movements, and to exploit any weakness with brutal efficiency. These smaller contests were often more intensely personal than large battles, forcing you to rely solely on your own skills and courage. Dueling and skirmishing were a constant reminder of the ever-present danger faced by a samurai, honing your readiness for sudden, lethal encounters.
While famed for warfare, much of a samurai's life was spent in peacetime duties, contributing to the stability and management of his lord's domains. You might serve as an administrator, overseeing aspects of the local economy, managing public works, or ensuring efficient tax collection from the peasants. As a castle guard, you would patrol the fortress walls, stand watch at gates, and maintain security within the daimyo's residence, ensuring vigilance against threats. You helped maintain order within the lord's territory, arbitrating disputes, enforcing laws, and punishing criminals, acting as both judge and executor. An imaginative detail. You sat at a low table, meticulously reviewing rice harvest reports, your brush moving across the paper. Later, you would don your armor and patrol the castle's outer wall, your eyes scanning the distant fields, the quiet rhythm of peacetime a stark contrast to the chaos of battle, yet equally vital to your lord's strength. These administrative and policing roles required literacy, a strong sense of justice,
and a firm but fair hand. Even in peacetime, your martial skills were maintained through constant practice and drills, ensuring readiness for sudden conflict. You would participate in formal ceremonies, attend tea gatherings, and engage in cultural pursuits, reflecting the refined side of samurai life. Your presence, even in non-combat roles, served as a constant reminder of the Lord's authority and the samurai's power. Peacetime duties demonstrated the samurai's versatility, proving their essential role not just as warriors, but as crucial pillars of feudal governance and social order.
For many lower-ranking or rural samurai, often called gokenin or jisamurai, their lives were intimately connected to the land and its productivity. You would directly oversee peasant farmers who worked the land within your allotted territory, ensuring they cultivated their fields efficiently and paid their dues. This involved understanding agricultural cycles, land management, and the welfare of the farmers who supported your stipend. You were also responsible for managing land disputes between villagers or neighboring domains, acting as a local authority and judge. An imaginative detail: you rode your horse along the edge of your assigned rice paddies, observing the peasants at work. You dismounted to inspect a damaged irrigation ditch, calmly instructing the village headman on its repair. Your presence a mix of authority and paternal responsibility for those who labored under your protection. Your relationship with the peasants was complex. They depended on your protection, and you depended on their labor and loyalty. This direct connection to the land and its people often gave rural samurai a deep, practical understanding of their domain's resources. Even while managing farms, your martial readiness was never neglected. Your katana was always at your side, and your training continued. Your administrative duties ensured the stable production of rice, the lifeblood of the feudal economy, supporting your lord and your own household. Agricultural oversight was a fundamental aspect of a rural samurai's life, blending the duties of a warrior with those of a local governor and protector. A true samurai was not just a master of the sword, but also of the brush and the mind. You cultivated an appreciation for artistic pursuits, balancing martial ferocity with refined sensibility. You composed poetry, particularly tanka and haiku, finding beauty in nature, reflection in fleeting moments, and expressing emotions in a disciplined form. Calligraphy, shodo, was a serious discipline, perfecting your brushstrokes, expressing not just words, but character and spirit through the art of writing. The tea ceremony, chanoyu, was a profound ritual you embraced, emphasizing harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility. It was a meditative practice, a moment of profound calm. An imaginative event. You carefully performed the precise movements of the tea ceremony, the quiet scrape of the whisk against the bowl the only sound. In the stillness, your mind found peace, a stark contrast to the clang of steel, allowing you to balance the demands of warfare with moments of profound aesthetic appreciation. You might also study flower arrangement, ikebana, painting, sumi-e, or appreciate Noh theater, deepening your understanding of Japanese aesthetics. These artistic pursuits were not mere hobbies. They were integral to Bushido, fostering mental discipline, aesthetic appreciation, and a deeper understanding of the world's beauty and impermanence. They provided an outlet for emotional expression, a counterpoint to the harsh realities of the warrior's life. Mastery of these arts was a mark of a cultured samurai, demonstrating his holistic development beyond mere fighting skill. Your artistic pursuits refined your spirit, making you a complete warrior capable of both brutal combat and profound artistic contemplation.
The continuation of your family line was a paramount duty. Your marriage was typically an arranged match, driven by political alliances, social standing, or economic advantage, rather than personal affection. Your parents or clan elders would select a suitable bride from another samurai family, ensuring the match strengthened your clan's ties or elevated its status. The purpose was to ensure the continuation of your family line, producing male heirs to inherit your position, land, and duties. The wedding ceremony would be a formal, solemn affair, a public affirmation of the alliance between the two families. An imaginative detail: you met your bride for the first time during the formal exchange of vows, her face veiled. Though your union was arranged, you offered her a respectful, quiet bow, acknowledging your shared duty to your families and the future lineage you were bound to create. Your wife, often trained in household management, arts, and even self-defense, would run your estate, raise your children, and manage the finances. Children were crucial, especially sons, to ensure the family's name and position endured through generations. While personal affection might grow over time, the initial foundation of the marriage was one of duty and responsibility. Your family was your core support system, providing stability, loyalty, and a grounding presence amidst the uncertainties of feudal life. Marriage was a critical step in a samurai's life, fulfilling a vital social obligation and ensuring the legacy of his warrior lineage. For a samurai, honor was more precious than life. If you faced severe dishonor or defeat, you might be compelled to commit seppuku, ritual suicide, the ultimate act to preserve your family's honor. This was not an act of despair, but one of immense courage and control, demonstrating your adherence to Bushido, even in death. Dishonor could stem from various causes: a grave mistake in duty, capture by an enemy, a lord's command, or a public disgrace. Seppuku was a highly ritualized process, performed with utmost solemnity and a calm demeanor, often before witnesses. An imaginative event. You sat in the garden, the moon illuminating the paper and brush. With a steady hand, you composed your final death poem, a reflection on the brevity of life and the beauty of nature. Your face was a mask of serene resolve as you contemplated the ultimate act of honor, knowing your family's name would be spared the stain of disgrace. The act involved disemboweling oneself with a short sword, wakizaki or tonto, followed by a swift beheading by a trusted second, kaishakunin, to ensure a quick end. Choosing seppuku over capture or public execution was seen as the most honorable death, a final act of agency and fidelity to your code. Your readiness for seppuku underscored the absolute primacy of honor over life itself in the samurai worldview. It was the ultimate expression of self-control, facing death without fear, upholding Bushido to the very end. Facing dishonor or death through seppuku was a stark, defining aspect of the samurai's existence, a testament to their unwavering commitment to their code. If you survived the many perils of feudal Japan, you would eventually enter old age. While your physical prowess might wane, your wisdom and experience would become highly valued. Your years of battle, administration, and disciplined living made you a respected elder within your clan and community. You would spend your later years mentoring younger samurai, passing on your accumulated knowledge of strategy, swordsmanship, and the intricacies of Bushido. An imaginative detail: you sat on the engawa veranda, watching a young samurai practice his forms in the dojo below. With a gentle nod, you offered a quiet correction about his footwork, or shared a subtle insight gleaned from a long-ago battle, knowing that your wisdom was now your greatest weapon, shaping the next generation. Your counsel would be sought in clan meetings, your voice carrying weight due to your extensive experience and loyalty. You might assume a more administrative or advisory role within your lord's service, guiding policy or overseeing new projects. Even in old age, your discipline remained. You would continue daily rituals, maintain your inner calm through Zen, and perhaps engage more deeply in artistic pursuits. Your presence served as a living example of a life lived according to Bushido, inspiring the next generation to uphold the same ideals. You became a repository of clan history and tradition, a link between the past and the future of your warrior lineage. Aging as a samurai was not a decline, but a transition to a new form of invaluable service, ensuring the continuity and strength of your clan.
Your life, a testament to unwavering dedication, would ultimately conclude. The manner of your demise was often dictated by your choices and circumstances. The most honorable end for a samurai was to die in battle, valiantly fighting for his lord, his death a testament to his courage and loyalty. If you survive the wars, you might die peacefully of old age, your passing marked by quiet respect and a sense of a long, dutiful life completed. Your death would be mourned by your family and clan, a period of solemn rituals and remembrance. An imaginative event. Your body, wrapped in your finest silks, lay in state, your katana beside you. Your family gathered, heads bowed, as a priest chanted prayers. Later, your name and the date of your passing would be inscribed on a wooden tablet to be placed in the household shrine, your ancestors joining the spirits of your forefathers, forever honored. Your legacy was not just your martial prowess, but your adherence to Bushido, your loyalty, and the honor you brought to your family name. For those who died in battle, tales of their bravery would be recounted for generations, inspiring future warriors. Your spirit was believed to join the ancestors, watching over your descendants and the clan. Your grave, likely a simple stone marker or within a family plot, would be a place of quiet reverence, visited by your family for generations. Your demise was the ultimate fulfillment of your life's purpose, your name and spirit forever woven into the proud tapestry of samurai history.
Your saga, a testament to fierce loyalty, unwavering discipline, and profound honor, now finds its conclusion. From your noble birth to your final, often courageous demise, you lived and died by the way of the warrior, Bushido. Your life was a blade, honed for service, a spirit tempered by philosophy. Remember, even in the quiet of the present, the echo of your samurai spirit resonates through the ages. Now, relax and enjoy the silence, for your journey is complete.